come to you from the land of bratwurst, the Brewers and Brew, the home of Miller Lite. We're on the shores of Lake Michigan, and from Bradford Beach, we bring you the best pro beach volleyball players in the world. And as always, big crowd on hand throughout the course of the weekend, a love affair between the city of Milwaukee and the Miller Lite AVP Tour. This is the $125,000 Miller Lite Open at Milwaukee. The story today, upsets, and Kent Steffes going for a milestone. And there we are in our Fox Sports net, perched high above center court. Hi again, everybody, and welcome. I'm Paul Sunderland, joined once again by Tim Hovland. The Midwestern Swing is almost over. Next week, the Miller Lite Grand Slam in Hermosa Beach. $300,000 in prize money. A lot of crazy things going on this weekend. We'll get to that in a moment. But history for Kent Steffes is just a little bit down the road if he can win here today.
No doubt about the century mark, the 100 wins. A chosen few have made that. Kent Steffes has been on 11 seasons, played with 5 different partners, winning a majority with Karch Kira, 81 wins. I have 6 with him. Loiola has 10. He's been around. His first win was with John Stevenson in 1989. $2 million. 342,648. What a career.
How many pennies? Hey, this is a list of players who have over 100 wins. St. John Smith got his in Cleveland in 1990. Karch Kira, 126. Randy Stokos, 122. And will Kent Steffes get to the century mark here in Milwaukee? They've had to come through the elimination or contenders bracket, if you will, so it's going to be a little more difficult for them. And we talked at the top, Tim, about how crazy a tournament it has been. And with the Grand Slam just next week, you wouldn't expect this. You'd expect teams to be playing at their best. We've had a lot of early exits.
No doubt about it. You have to bring your A game, A staff. You have to be ready to play. As you can see, Adam Johnson, Karch Kira taking it home at night. They can't be satisfied with that. Dane Blanton and Canyon Seaman. Dane coming off a bad ankle, really didn't play that well. Then you have Eric Benoit Moana, Brian Ivey at 25th. I think they're going to be splitting up. Scott Akatebe, Jason Persley, 25th. Scott has a bad knee. You never know what's going to happen.
Well, Scott Akatebe's been bothered by a knee problem all season long, and one of the game's best players has not competed on tour until this weekend since late April, and our Craig Hummer had a chance to talk to him about his physical problems.
I hurt my knee in Miami. We played on hard surfaces in Florida, and we're taking some time off trying to get my knee to feel a little better, which it has, but it just seems volleyball seems to aggravate it, so I really don't know what I'm going to be doing.
Now, I know you didn't have the results that you would have liked today, obviously, but how's the rest of the season look?
The rest of the season's up in the air. I'm going to try and make all our big tournaments, our Grand Slam tournaments. So I'm going to play in Hermosa next weekend, and then I just have to wait and see how my knee reacts to all that playing.
Well, Tim, Scott Akatebe says right there that he's going to play at Hermosa next week.
Yeah.
Should he just take the rest of the season off? Why is he still playing?
If you get a 25th, you have a torn meniscus. Let this season go. Get it operated on. Come back next year in full strength. Just let the season go.
All right, Scott Akatebe, we wish him all the best, and we'll see what happens next week at Hermosa. A lot going on this weekend. The weather, a big story, and for all the updates on everything that's happening down at center court, let's get down to the third member of our broadcast team, Craig Hummer. Craig?
Thanks a lot, Paul. You touched on it earlier. We have had it all weather-wise. We've had wind, we've had rain, we've had sun, we've had thunder and lightning, and now we've got heat and humidity. But one of the real stories is Brian Gatzke and Anjinho Bacil. Brian Gatzke in his first semifinal ever. Them before the match, they said it was going to be business as usual. We'll just have to see, though, whether nerves do play a part in all of it.
And thank you very much, Craig Hummer. You saw that it's 82 degrees. The number 1 seed, Steffes and Loiola, lost in the semifinals. They have been working their way back through the elimination bracket. And one of the surprise teams of the weekend, the number 14 seed, Brian Gatzke, and Eduardo Bacil, better known to volleyball fans as Anjinho or Tim. Jack. There is Brian Gatzke from Oyama, British Columbia. He has already, by virtue of this position in the tournament, recorded his career high finish. Has taken many, many fifths throughout the course of his 7 years on tour, but will do no worse than third. The score right now is 8-4. Steffes and Loiola lead. You're looking at Brian Gatzke, powerful blocker, and there is Kent Steffes. Physically, very, very gifted. Jose Loiola, his partner, missing the block out of bounds, and Jose has been suffering with a virus all weekend long. Maybe that's part of their subpar play, but give credit to a lot of other teams that have played exceptionally well. There's Eduardo Bacil, Anjinho, Jack, now 26 years, I was waiting for that, now 26 years of age. one career win, indoor variety, with Jose Loiola. You know, they came here together in 1993 and really made a name for themselves, and then split up eventually in 1995. Steffes with the tap down.
Anjinho playing exceptionally well this weekend. He's got great shots. Brian Gatzke, not one of the better setters on the tour. Anjinho putting the ball on the line, using the whole court, really playing magnificent.
There is Jose Loiola, now 27 years of age, originally from Copacabana Beach in Rio de Janeiro. 23 career wins, $297,000 last year. Went over the $1 million mark. It says here, as I'm looking at the information, it says that he has won $11 million. Now we're talking. I think that's a typo. But as we know, Jose Loiola and Kent Steffes have had a fabulous season, but struggling a little bit this weekend, as there has been a lot of upsets and a lot of surprises throughout the course of this weekend here on Bradford Beach at the $125,000 Miller Lite AVP Milwaukee Open. The Miller Lite reminds you that anything can happen at Miller time. By Honda, experience the thrill of the all-new Prelude and the new four-wheel, the official ball of the AVP.
It's one of the most useful tools you can own, with the right features to help you nail down just the information you need. US West X, your directory expert.
No matter how much noise other yellow pages make about what they can offer, it can't come close to what you've already got. The right features, the most information. US West X, your directory expert.
For some time, I've been trying to figure out how I could thank all of you people who have sent me best wishes and your prayers for my recent battle with prostate cancer. It has meant a great deal to me to be hearing from so many of you. And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Pennzoil for this time. I also want to tell all you men, please go have your PSA checked.
Join Arnie's Army and fight prostate.
Live Mariners baseball will keep you tuned to Fox Sports Northwest. Follow Junior, Lou, and the whole crew as they head for home in 55 live and exclusive matchups all season long. Seattle Mariner baseball on Fox Sports Northwest is sponsored by Car Toys and Money Tree.
He said he wakes up in the morning, never makes his bed.
Yeah, someone else makes it.
Not again.
Breakfast in bed.
Room service.
Man, life on the road.
Living like kings.
We should have been Fox Sports News guys.
Yeah, probably be in New York right now.
I will get him.
Fox Sports News, we are there covering your home team. The Mariners, only on Fox Sports Northwest.
The later it gets, the better it gets. Fabulous. Tom Skerritt stars in Picket Fences. Then it's the show that changed television forever, Miami Vice. Next, it's a double dose of comedy.
2 snaps up.
FX Late Night, every night starting at 11:10 Central.
Looking at downtown Milwaukee, Wisconsin, home of the Miller Brewing Company, of course, Miller Lite, one of the greatest contributors to the success, sponsoring events on the Pro Beach Tour in the United States all the way back in 1982. And action, number 14 seed Brian Gatzke and Anjinho or Eduardo Bacil taking on the number 1 seeded team of Kent Steffes and Jose Loiola. Steffes and Loiola had won 3 in a row. Of the tournaments they competed in, they skipped Cape Cod, and they had won 20 matches in a row. That win streak was broken in the semifinals by Bill Bullion and Troy Tanner, who were in our finals.
Little tight set. Nice ripping line shot by Kent.
That's a tough shot to read. Very tough, Tim. How do you stop that?
You can't stop it. He started off on the angle. He turned his full body, cranked it down the line. Give him that. It's a great shot.
Isn't Gatzke big enough at about 6'5" that he should be able to get over and clamp on that ball?
What Steffes right now is really jumping. That rained a little bit earlier this morning, so it's a jumper's beat. Great up by Steffes right there.
Gatzke with a nice side out.
And it's packed down a little bit so that they're really jumping and hitting. Gatzke is a big blocker at 6'5". Steffes, if he reaches his arm out, can go over him. Shot like that, you just give it away.
Brian Gatzke, one of the first international players, and Gene got most of the publicity, but Brian Gatzke, this is his 7th season out on tour. He made the commitment to come to a successful career playing indoors in Canada. That ball cuffed over the top by Jose Loiola.
We got one American out there, a Canadian, and two Brazilians.
Shows you a little about what's happening with the sport.
The British Open out there. It's the Miller Lite AVP Tour in the United States. Everybody's come to join us.
We should point out that Jose was suffering from a cold and a virus, and that has continued this week. That hampers his training. That hampers his ability to recuperate from one day to the next, and I don't think that he physically is firing on all cylinders.
It's not as hot as it was. I mean, the cloud came over. That's really going to save him. The humidity came up a little bit, but it says 82, but it feels like 75. It could be 90, 100 here.
He specifically, and they meaning Steffes and Loiola, because they're coming from farther in the contenders bracket, the cool weather will really help them.
Watch this cross-court inside cut shot by Jose, getting up, easy, put away. Sees it right coming down at your couch.
Boy, Anjinho can set the ball. He has just fabulous hands. Played on the Brazilian junior national team and had some aspirations to maybe play for the Brazilian Olympic team, one of the best in the world and gold medalist in 1992. Was the third setter and an alternate there and didn't quite make that team, and then decided to throw his lot out on the beach and was Brazilian champion twice with Jose Loiola.
The coaches don't think he's working as hard as he can. He just looks very casual when he's working out. He is a very hard worker. He's got great hands. He dishes the ball from all over the court. He's had great shots, too.
He's had a difficult year. I mean, when he came on tour in '93 with Jose Loiola, they went to their first final about halfway through the season in Fort Worth and were a factor each and every week. And then '94 was a good season for them. They eventually split in '95, but since then Jose Loiola has been winning and winning and winning with Adam Johnson or Steffes. Nice chase by Jose Loiola. We'll finish that in a moment. And Anjinho, one of the shots you were talking about, with the tap down. Anjinho, however, has had some knee and now he's a little bit healthier and playing better volleyball.
Nice up by Loiola, and then a little tap shot, the Anjinho jack cut shot. Nobody can touch it. Down on the ground.
I know you're very close with Anjinho. I want to hear from you how hard this last year and a half has been on him since he and Jose split up.
It's easier to get a digger than it is to get a good blocker. You know, Loiola can go and get Kander. He can get Adam Johnson or anybody, but Anjinho needs a specific type player, a Randy Stoklos, Mike Whitmarsh. There's not many of them out there. That's probably one of the things that's been hindering his performance.
And he was with Randy Stoklos for a while, but I think when he was with Stokey, he wasn't 100% physically. There's a point-scoring opportunity and conversion by Jose Loiola, and Steffes and Loiola now lead 9-4. And speaking of Randy Stoklos, we should wish him a speedy recovery. He got a virus during the week, very late in the week. Yeah. Brian Lewis was already back here in Milwaukee. Randy Stoklos did not make the trip, so he and Brian Lewis had to sit out the weekend. We wish them all the best next week at the Miller Lite Grand Prix at Hermosa after a second last week. That was a team that probably came here with pretty high expectations. At least Brian did until Randy didn't come.
At State Beach, what does he do? He goes swimming on Wednesday, he gets sick on Thursday, can't be here. Randy, don't go swimming anymore at State Beach.
Now, the water in Santa Monica Bay is much cleaner. I see dolphins out there all the time. If it's good enough for the Dolphins, it's good enough for Stokey.
Nobody. Go! Nice pancake by Gatzke. Can he get it back?
Boy, that is a marvelous serve by Anjinho to start this play, and you know you got to make Steffes and Loiola move in their serve reception.
Watch it drop off the table right there. Very difficult serve to perform. Feet to pass the ball.
Anjinho and Brian Gatzke made it all the way to the finals of the winner's bracket before they eventually were defeated by Troy Tanner and Bill Bullion. They defeated Seligson and Friedrichsen in the first round, and then their big win and really sort of set the table for their tournament was over the number 3 seeds of Dane Blanton and Canyon Seaman. They beat Eric Wirtz and Andrew Smith, who had an exceptional tournament, and also having an exceptional tournament again, Dax Holdren and Todd Rogers. They finished 4th this week. They eventually beat them in the semifinals, and that's how the number 14 seed of Anjinho got to the
He had a real tough game against Canyon and Dan. They beat him 12-10 in the nail bite.
A minute and 40 seconds, 6/10 left on our Swatch official game clock here on the Miller Lite AVP Tour. Kent Steffes, Jose Loiola up by 5, 9-4. How in the world do Brian Gatzke and Anjinho get back into this? And it looks like it could be 10-4. Jose Loiola touched the ball on the block, tries to convert that play, and Jose saying that was my fault. Do Anjinho and Brian Gatzke, I guess the question with the way the game is played now, do they serve well enough to get back in?
What also hampers him is that it rained early. The ball gets a little bit heavy. It's picking up the humidity, so you can't get that crisp jump serve. There's only been one ace so far this match. Anjinho doesn't have any, and neither does Gatzke. They're going to have to play some good defense to get back in this match. Great dig right there.
Long run for Gatzke. Got to set this ball well.
That won't play.
Brian Gatzke maybe feeling a little bit fatigued because, of course, when you play with Anjinho, that means you block every ball all weekend long, and after the long chase, he did not get back to the net to block.
Yeah. A tired Loiola. Jump. Up. Kaboom. Great sound effect. Up over the banners. If he's sick, I'd like to hit that way, too, when I'm sick.
I'd like to be that sick and be that tired just once.
Yeah, I think he's fine.
It looks like a little bit that Steffes and Loiola, in spite of the viral infection to Jose Loiola, have gotten a little bit of a second wind. It looks like, to me, like Brian Gatzke is the tired player.
When they played great defense in the last match, they're cruising along right now. The sun's kind of disappeared behind the clouds. They're having a good time at bombing balls.
High ball. Steffes sneaks that one through. We'll have a conversation about this. Jeff Jordan. Martin down below. What you see here?
John Martin has made a very late call.
Did he net or not?
See it again on replay. They did not see it. There you go. That's a good call by Jeff Jordan. Here it is. Gatzke up, cross court. I don't see it on the top. I think Steffes netted after he hit the ball.
Well, in any case, that makes it 9-5. And don't forget, this year you only have to get within one to force overtime. So at this stage, by Jose Loiola for the kill.
That's what teammates are for. You got to be covering your partner, bring the ball back up, putting the ball away. Working together. Isn't that the Marines theme too?
Semper Fi.
Working together.
Anjinho and Brian Gatzke. I mentioned that Gatzke looked a little bit fatigued, and it's been a long weekend for him, blocking a lot of balls. They take a 20-second timeout. You look at the scoreboard. The #1 seed's headed yet for another final.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Romaine. Want to spend a few days with me at the next Sports Illustrated swimsuit shoot?
You could make a difference here. Because where I work, it's really hot. So if I get thirsty, you could get me something to drink. It's also really sandy. And maybe you could help me with my different swimsuits.
Nothing to do this fall?
Get out!
You could win a trip to the next Sports Illustrated swimsuit shoot. Apply where you buy Miller Lite.
We all want it. We all want to fit in. To feel like we belong. We want to be a part of the big picture. And it's the same, it's exactly the same for the athletes of Special Olympics. It's hit the farthest. Or run the fastest. Not just to win, but to belong. And because of the training Special Olympics gives them, because of the confidence it instills, they do belong. On the field and in life, they belong.
It fits.
Special Olympics. It's training for life.
Home teams, Fox Attitude. You're watching Fox Sports Northwest.
As is always the case here at Bradford Beach in Milwaukee for the Miller Lite Open. Big crowds all weekend long, and when the weather cooperates, as it has for the most part today, everybody having a very, very good time. A new event on tour this year, the Miller Lite AVP Tour Championships at the Wide World of Sports Complex I haven't been there yet, but it is supposed to be really something in Orlando, Florida. That's August 29th through the 31st. For tickets, call area code 407-839-3900. That is the Wide World of Sports complex down in Orlando. Brian Gatzke and Anjinho May were top teams. And what about him as a player?
He's a good, solid player. He's got a good block. He's got to concentrate a little bit more. He's got good shots, as you can see right here. Nice loopy over the corner. If he had a little bit better arm swing from in the transitional points, he'd get more points. He had a good finish in Hermosa Beach, his 7th, and he gets up for the big tournaments. Nice shot deep in the corner. That's a very tough shot to make.
Physically just trying to take the next step up if he can, but he's 32 years of age. It seems that time may be running out for Brian Gatzke to really get up into the top group, but if he stays with Anjinho, they'll be competitive. Jose Loiola cranking hard cross court. We're down to 38.1 seconds left, and really a commanding 9-5 lead. And when you look at the score, and of course games played to 15 out here on the Miller Lite AVP Tour, you have to think that Gatzke and Anjinho were able to side out pretty well. This game's going to go on time at a very low score.
They started out down 4-1. That was the big mistake right there. They came out, they weren't ready to play, and they've been paying for it ever since.
Why do teams do that? Come out not ready to play. Big opportunity against the #1 seed. Nothing to lose.
Remember, this is his best finish ever. First time on TV. Maybe a little bit of nerves, apprehension. They came out, they got aced. You know, it just didn't happen. By that time, you know, you give the confidence back to Loiola and Steffes, and when they get the confidence, watch out.
This may be a situation where Steffes and Loiola, their experience and just their comfort level in playing in big matches really had a lot to do with it. But I'm very glad to see Anjinho back out here playing among the best players on tour, because he had a super couple of years. He and Loiola just felt he needed a better hitter, a stronger partner. He went with Adam Johnson. Isn't that the reason?
Yes, I guess so. You know, Anjinho is a great player. Wish him all the best. His girlfriend Nikki's pregnant right now, coming with their first child. This will be a...
Looks like they will, with 20.7 seconds left and trailing by 4. It'll certainly be his biggest paycheck of the year, and his best finish so far this year is a 9th. He and Brian Gatzke finished 13th last week, and if you look at the list, it's peppered with 17ths, 13ths, a number of different partners. He's played with Ricky Ludes, Ian Clark, Brian Gatzke now, and Daniel Cardenas. So a very up and down year. Yeah. Steffes and Loiola just playing out the string right now. The #1 seeds are going to be headed for yet another final. 8.5 seconds left. Steffes and Loiola have doubled up now on Gatzke and Anjinho, 10-5.
Introducing the all-new, more powerful, better handling Honda Prelude. Choose your accessories with caution.
A good sweat isn't so good once the game is over.
Great game, Brendan.
Thanks, mate. That's why there's Irish Spring Sport. It works hard because you play hard. Irish Spring Sport has an extra antibacterial ingredient that kills odor-causing germs better than regular soap. It's Irish Spring Sport. Kills odor-causing germs, so play as hard as you like.
A tough case of athlete's foot can stop you in your tracks. You get that itching, the cracking, the burning. That's when you want a medicine and back stuff. Boom! Tough Actin Tenactin. It cures even tough cases of athlete's foot. Get Tough Actin Tenactin. 1, 2, 3. Try again. Hey, play, replay. Game over.
Swatch. Keep in shape.
Get into your sports weekend with Fox Sports News. The Eye of the Tiger will be on Royal Troon in training camps and all the day's highlights. Every night at Fox Sports News, we are there.
Milwaukee is brought to you by BMW Motorcycles. It kills odor-causing germs, so play as hard as you like. That is Lake Michigan, and that is Kent Steffes. You see the Fila, you see the name on the back, and Kent Steffes and Jose Loiola are headed once again for yet another final. They have missed only 2 all year.
That is a Miller Lite beer belly right there. You know we're in Milwaukee right there. Oh, boy.
And he's been to Cabo San Lucas, a very beautiful spot, of course, at the tip of Baja. 2.4 seconds left. So Anjinho and Brian Gatzke will finish a very respectable third, finishing 11 spots above their seed. That's a great finish.
Now we're talking. Break out the beer nuts because this party is over.
It's really been Steffes and Loiola in control throughout, as you mentioned, Tim, up top on top 4-0, then 4-1. The lead extended to 8-4, and really Anjinho and Gatzke have not been able to really threaten the #1 seeds of Steffes and Loiola. Time is out. The game is over, and that goes down as a block. That block is important.